Disturbing movies. They've become a pretty popular thing over the years. Everyone's talking about disturbing movies and documentaries, but there's one disturbing movie that no one's talking about: The Human Centipede. The Human Centipede is known to some as a beloved classic, and as to others, just straight trash. Now, I haven't seen The Human Centipede in years. I remember being completely roasted out and not wanting to watch it again. Now, I've only ever seen the first Human Centipede out of the 3 that were made for some reason. So I watched every Human Centipede movie because I hate myself. This was a mistake. So I just got done watching all 3 of the movies, and words cannot describe how I'm feeling right now. This was a bad idea. So Jenny and Lindsay are on vacation in Germany for some reason. They get a flat tire, and after narrowly escaping an encounter...
Fucking. He said fucking. Okay. Roll your window up.
They find themselves at the home of Dr. Hyder, a renowned surgeon. The girls enter his house, which was their first mistake. If somebody looks at me like that, yeah, I'm gone. So Dr. Hyder drugs the girls, and they wake up tied to a hospital bed right next to a guy that Dr. Hyder shot. Doesn't matter though, because his insurance doesn't cover this operation.
What is this?
Hyder replaces the now deceased man with a Japanese guy named Katsuro. Because somehow he knows that his skin is a match to the girls. Dr. Hyder then introduces himself with a PowerPoint presentation. He tells them that he's going to cut their knee ligaments, pull their teeth out, and sew their mouths to each other's anus. Freak, aren't you, Doc? Hey, listen, ass to mouth, that's some dangerous territory. So Lindsay, safe to say, not a fan, gets free and runs away, but not before tearing her arm open. So she runs away and somehow falls into a pool. Hyder closes the pool cover, but the power turns off right before it closes. So Lindsay goes back to save Jenny in the absolute slowest escape I have ever seen. But right as they would be in the clear, Hyder shoots Lindsay with a dart. So with everyone overdosed on NyQuil, Hyder performs the surgery. And it's something. So Hyder feeds Katsuro, and eventually Katsuro needs to relieve himself. So time passes and the police show up at Hyder's door. The cops suspect Hyder as a suspect for all the missing people because he's been spotted at every location at the time of the disappearances. And neighbors say that they heard a female yelling in his yard. So instead of trying to play it off cool, Hyder decides to add them to his creation. But he fumbles in the most comical and clownish way.
Besorgen Sie sich einen Durchsuchungsbefehl und mein Haus gehört Ihnen.
But what the hell, boy?
So the cops leave to get a search warrant, and when Hyder returns, the centipede is gone.
Nani?
You know when you see a bug and you go to grab like a shoe or anything to kill it, and when you look back, it's gone? I'm pretty sure that's what Hyder was feeling. Hyder turns the corner only to get attacked by Katsuro. They all start to crawl away but end up at the stairs. And this part's a little hard to watch once you realize that they are hanging and being pulled by each other's anus. They try to break the glass, but Hyder comes crawling in. And in an act of shame and desperation, Katsuro... The cops return and Hyder shimmies down to the pool where he waits for them. And while the girls are hoping that help will arrive, Jenny dies from infection.
Think I'm gonna be seasick.
Which leaves Lindsay just sitting there, not able to move. Ass to mouth, mouth to ass. And that's the end of the movie. Now, it ain't no Shining. It ain't no Bye Bye Man either. Now, the pacing was kind of all over the place, and the acting choppy at best. And as every horror movie, the decisions in this movie are Why didn't they just change the tire? And how come when the cops came back, they didn't have like a SWAT team or anything? Like, they got a warrant. So they had to actually believe that this dude is dangerous and that he was kidnapping people. So you're still, it's just gonna be you and your partner? You're not gonna take a whole team? You know, I didn't finish that water you gave me. I'm thirsty. That being said, I can see why people were completely grossed out by this movie. I mean, the scene of Katsuro feeding Lindsay is gross. I read that Tom Six, the director, wanted to make it as realistic as possible. So he had one, if not multiple, surgeons and confirmed that, hey, this could happen. Gee, I sure hope that no one gets any ideas and tries to make their own human centipede after watching the movie. I'm sure that wouldn't happen. So this movie's insane. This movie takes place in Britain, so we're already going downhill from the first one. This movie is about Martin. So in this universe, the human centipede is just a movie that Martin is obsessed with. So much so that he has a scrapbook on how to make his own human centipede. We're pretty much thrown right into it. Martin sees some potential victims, and after they're down from being shot, he bonks them on the head with a crowbar. In the first movie, Dr. Hyder used tranquilizer darts to subdue them and not kill them. Martin doesn't give a shit. He's shooting them, then bashing their skulls in. Martin goes to a warehouse where he'll be conducting his deeds. Martin seems to like the warehouse, so he kills the owner.
Hi, how are you?
Martin's therapist is downstairs, and it's here we learn that Martin was by his father, and his mother blames Martin for it. Also, Martin's psychiatrist wants to fuck him. While they're eating dinner, Martin's mom starts banging at the neighbor because the music's too loud, but when the neighbor comes to confront her, she says it was Martin.
Kill us both. I'm begging you.
What?
Shut your fucking mouth!
And Martin just gets beat. Martin decides he needs more specimens, so Martin, once again, starts blasting.
Police steady watching me. Every day they clocking me. Red alert, I'm the dangerous. I keep that clock on the name.
There was a baby in the car, so Martin comforts the baby while the pregnant mother crawls away. Guess what Martin does? Later on, Martin is watching the movie again in his little box, and he gets excited. He takes some sandpaper, he makes a little pigs in a blanket, and he just starts jerking it. They make sure you know exactly what he's doing because they show you exactly what he's doing. Yeah, you can see his little, we cut to Martin's mom trying to stab him to death while he's asleep. Go, he's right behind me, isn't he? His mom then finds his centipede scrapbook and rips it up in front of him. So needing more people for his centipede, Martin sets his defaced mother up in the kitchen as a trap for his neighbor.
Fuck! Surprise, motherfucker!
Martin is watching the movie again and he gets so excited that he shits himself during the shitting parts. He then sees his psychiatrist getting head from a hooker. I don't know why I pointed at Michael.
Imagine what your father would say.
So this is where the movie gets ridiculous, because it wasn't already. Martin got the actress that played Jenny from the first movie to come to London thinking she was auditioning for a Quentin Tarantino movie. He then, of course, bonks her on the head, and now it's complete. She was the one piece.
Can we get much higher? So high.
Now, Dr. Hyder was a world-renowned surgeon. Martin is not. Now, unlike the first movie that kind of glazed over the surgery, this one shows you the entire thing in full detail. Disturbing isn't the word I'd use. Not even close. Torture porn. Martin injects them with laxatives so that they will go, and man, do they go. They start letting loose. Martin then gets aroused by the smell of the brown. I don't want to talk about this part. He whips out his willy and he wraps barbed wire around it, and he goes to the back of the centipede. Proceeds to... He fucks a centipede. He fucks a centipede with barbed wire around his dick. It is one of the most disgusting things I have ever witnessed in a movie. The pregnant lady that he bonked on the head earlier, he thought was dead, so he didn't put her in the centipede. Turns out she was alive, and she was waiting for a chance to break. And this is the moment she chose. The second she gets up, she goes into labor, it seems like, because she's just leaving a trail. She made it to the car right before Martin could get to her, and right before she gave birth. Just right there at the window, just staring. So with Martin still trying to get in the car, she hits the gas, and keep in mind, she just gave birth. So the baby's on the floor. Just squashed straight, just completely, not a thought in that baby's mind. Martin comes in and sees the absolute mess that this whole situation is, and it's at this point he decides, yeah, this is a little too much. He hesitates killing Jenny, and that's when she decides to strike. Takes a funnel and then takes his centipede and throws that in the funnel. And I guess that had no effect on him, because then we cut to him sitting in his little box watching the movie again, and we can hear the little baby crying in the back, and the movie ends. I don't even know where to start. It's disturbing, all right, not in a good way. This movie's not fun. Martin pretty much kills his victims before putting them in the centipede. He shoots them, and that, you know, you're already losing a lot of blood there, and then he bonks them on the head. Half of this was just unnecessary, to be honest. It's all gratuitous gore. It's just gross to be gross. I can maybe look past the sandpaper jacking, barbed wire around his little pecker, and going to town on the centipede. Kind of lost me there. I will say the one thing I'll give it is the practical effects. Those are pretty good. And his mother, when he bashed her face in and he sat her up, that looked a little concerningly real. And then Martin turns around and starts sticking his dick in a pencil sharpener. All right, you lost me again. Not very good. Don't like it at all. I also found out this movie's in black and white because the color version was banned for too much gore, and that is not something I ever want to see. I watched the color version. The black and white gives off this ominous, unsettling feeling that you don't get in the color version. The gore in the color version is much worse. The mother in the chair doesn't look as real. The shit. There's this one particular shot after the centipede splits and the guy has his mouth ripped off. You can see the diarrhea dripping out of his mouth that you couldn't see in the black and white version. And it cuts to the anus that he ripped his mouth away from, and it's a shot. I did not think it could get worse. This movie's just goofy. So it starts the same way part 2 started, except this time he's watching the end of part 2. A warden named William Boss and his accountant named Dwight. It's Dr. Hyder and Martin, except one's the warden and one's Dwight. The warden has a secretary named Daisy, and he her in just about any scene that she's in. The warden and Dwight are walking down the prison cells when a prisoner calls the warden a Nazi.
I can't believe I did that. I am so stupid. I don't know what I was thinking.
Warden has high blood pressure, so he eats clitoris gummies. Dwight says they need to cut costs at the prison because the warden likes to torture his prisoners, and that's expensive. The warden does like to torture. He pours boiling water on the face of one of the prisoners. Dwight has the brilliant idea of taking all the prisoners and making a giant human centipede. I guess he's related to Martin. The warden's expecting a visit from the governor, so he tells Daisy,
Try to make him touch your ass so we can sue his ass.
they're on the money with the politics. When the governor comes, he ignores Daisy and tells the warden that big changes need to happen or everyone's getting fired. So what does the warden do?
Oh, hell no! Oh, hell no! Whoa!
You can't make this shit up. And the first prisoner up is the prisoner that called them a Nazi. And in human centipede fashion, you see him castrate him. The warden tells the cook to cook them up for his lunch. And you bet that he does, and he eats them. Dwight tries to get the warden to agree to the human centipede idea, while also telling him he doesn't really have an option because Dwight called Tom 6, and he's coming here. Dwight comes back with Tom 6, and they discuss the procedure. The warden thought it'd be a good idea to show the prisoners the movies, and then tell them, hey, that's gonna happen to you. After all the prisoners are riled up and they're getting ready to prepare for the procedure, there's a prisoner with stoma. So since the prisoner with stoma can't be in the centipede, warden sticks his gun in his stomach hole, just Blast! Meanwhile, the governor shows back up. Warden wants to show him the human centipede. He's like, oh, what's that? Let me show you.
What the hell is this?
The warden says they'll get the death penalty because they've gone cuckoo with the Cocoa Puffs. The only sane person in this movie. Lasted a whole 30 seconds because he turns right back around and he's like,
This is exactly what America needs. This may even get me elected president.
what? Dwight says that he's happy that his plan worked. The warden, now seeing that he can't get any of the credit, shoots Dwight. The warden then gets naked and goes up in the tower and just starts screaming into the megaphone. And then the movie ends. You know what? I thought part 2 was pretty bad, but this is by far the absolute worst one. This movie, I'm pretty much was just a joke. The acting in this one is terrible. The warden just screams. It's like loud equals good.
Boiling water!
Dwight has an American accent that just straight up shuts off sometimes. And I don't know the whole thing with the governor liking the idea at the end. It felt like a whole dream.
This is exactly what America needs.
The first sequence, I can see why it became such a big thing. It wasn't super huge, but you mentioned Human Centipede, and everyone knows what you're talking about. It's a pretty solid movie, although it has its flaws. I would definitely consider it a classic. The full sequence is a whole different vibe. Its main focus wasn't to make a good movie, it was to make a disturbing movie. This one is without a doubt the most disturbing of the three, yet the unneeded and frankly unwanted shots that I don't want to see. I don't need to see barbed wire cave exploring. This movie isn't really good. It is disturbing. The final sequence, it's just trash. Bad acting, bad plot, bad pacing, just bad everything. Bad movie. There's also an alternate ending at the end of the final sequence that I found where the warden is yelling like he did at the end of the movie, and Dr. Hyder wakes up in bed and it was all a dream. So the first movie was a movie that Martin saw in the second movie, but the second movie is just a movie that the warden saw in the third movie, but the third movie is just a dream that Dr. Hyder had before beginning the events of the first movie. But maybe it was never about the movies or the dreams or the gore. Maybe the real Human Centipede was the friends we made along the way.